Welcome back, everyone. 14 after the hour, and today, as we go behind the headlines, we take a look at the state of Ohio, where there's an opportunity here to legalize marijuana, but one that must give us all pause because it might just legalize a marijuana monopoly. As we continue to watch the emergence of these new legal marijuana markets across the country, it's pretty instructive for us to look at another so-called vice: gambling. Now, it used to be games of chance when I was growing up were relegated to Nevada and Atlantic City. That's it. But now it's hard to find any state that doesn't have some form of gambling, and it could be riverboat casinos or tribal casinos or even just a state lottery. And one place that gambling took hold recently is Ohio. In 2009, the state passed a constitutional amendment. It was known as Issue 3, and it legalized gambling with a catch. The organizers of that initiative pushed to make legal, quote, only one casino facility at a specifically designated location within each of the cities of Cincinnati, Cleveland, Columbus, and Toledo, end quote. The casino initiative was bankrolled mostly by a corporation called Penn National Gaming, Inc. They're a company that runs 20 casinos nationwide, including, unsurprisingly, the 4 constitutionally mandated casinos in Ohio. And they put about $32 million into the campaign for Issue 3 back in 2009. Penn National now has a guaranteed constitutional monopoly on casino gambling in America's 7th largest state. That's it. One casino each is written into the Constitution only. One in Cincinnati, one in Cleveland, one in Columbus, one in Toledo, and this one company owns them all. 7th largest state in the country. Now, $32 million is what it cost them to do the ad campaigns and the lobbying and everything to get this constitutional amendment, to get the signature gatherers paid for and all of that. What do you suppose that investment paid off for them? Well, in the first 2 full years of casino operations in Ohio, 2013 and 2014, those 4 casinos had adjusted gross revenues, and that means all the money they took in minus what they had to do for promotions, right? And of course they minus what they gave out, what people won, right? Their gross just adjusted revenue, $1.5 billion. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, 500 times investment on your money. That's not so bad. 32 million gets you 1.5 billion. That's a great bet. Now, like this casino amendment, the people that are behind this amendment in Ohio to legalize marijuana are basically trying to push the same idea. Wealthy backers would be writing in their properties as the 10 sites, just 10 statewide, that would be allowed for cultivation of marijuana for sale. And once those 10 growers are locked in, nobody else in the state could cultivate and sell cannabis legally. How nice is that, to be able to be one of the 10 growers that writes yourself into the Constitution and have no competition whatsoever? Now, people are calling this a cannabis monopoly. Technically, it would be a cartel. Unless one entity is owning all 10 of the sites. But it appears from the news reports I've been reading, it is a conglomerate of growers or wealthy interests. So, a cartel. The difference would be negligible. Now, the editorial board of one of the major newspapers in Ohio, the Cleveland Plain Dealer, isn't sanguine about the proposed initiative's chances. They don't think it's got much of a chance to pass, but if it did, they say, quote, if the marijuana amendment arrives as advertised, it would be anti-competitive in the extreme, creating an anti-competitive constitutional monopoly, cartel, aimed at enriching a tiny number of landowners. Seems like the exact wrong way to go about any conceivable marijuana legalization, end quote. Now, I have to also make a mention that I wrote this up for High Times Magazine, and in my write-up, I misidentified the group that's behind this. And apparently this group that's behind this is purposefully being shifty about its name and who they are to try to generate some confusion and kind of cloud over what they're doing. Apparently there's 3 groups trying to change laws in Ohio. One is the Ohio Rights Group. That's John Pardee's group trying to bring medical marijuana. They failed to get enough signatures in the last go-round. They're still trying again. There's another group that I think the people behind that are Don McAdams and my friend Tanya Davis from Ohio. They're trying to do a regular old legalization like what you'd see in Colorado or Oregon or Washington. And it's this third group. Now, the second group's called Responsible Ohioans for Cannabis. And I think you can look at them at responsibleohioans.org, I think. It's this third group, these cartel monopolists, whatever you want to call them, that have named themselves Ohio Responsible something and kind of made a confusing name. So I want to apologize to Responsible Ohioans for misidentifying them. It's been corrected up on High Times, and the proper link to Responsible Ohioans is now up there on High Times magazine. I regret the error. I misread, and it was kind of unclear.